this is the process of working on my research essay. I'm going to be working with Annie Dillard's total eclipse. So let's open that up first. Right here. So Annie Dillard's classic essay, total eclipse. I'm just going to read through the essay one more time before I kind of pick out the parts I like. So Annie Dillard's essay made me really inspired to want to go see a total eclipse. Although when I'm rereading it, I'm wondering if she just speaks about everything very dramatically, such as this part right here. Like sliding down a mountain pass felt like dying. So what made me interested in this article is Dillard's very dramatic way of writing. Like here, I watched the landscape innocently, like a fool, like a diver in the rupture of the deep who plays in the bottom while his air runs out. Like really paints an image, I think. I like that connection of running out of air there and then the lobby feeling like it doesn't have air. But that's not the section I'm actually going to be focusing on. I'm thinking of focusing on the actual part of the eclipse because right now my idea is to look at other, like research on the eclipse and see why people react the way they did. Because from what she said, it seemed like she was not the only one who had that reaction of fear when everything went dark. But then I was listening to one of her classmates talk about how she had seen the eclipse and it seemed cool. And then I was like thinking back to, because I work with children, and I was thinking about how when I've done science experiments with them, I would do an experiment which I thought was like amazing, and they would be like, cool. And so I always wondered, I'm like, maybe it's because they don't understand that defies the way we think the world to be, that it's so amazing to me, but to them it's just normal because they didn't know that there was a rule that this can't happen. And that's kind of what set me into being interested in this topic. I don't know where it'll go, but let's keep reading. I really love this line. Seeing a partial eclipse bears the same relation to seeing a total eclipse as kissing a man does to marrying him. This kind of imagery that draws me to Dillard. The part about air not going cold in a partial eclipse was interesting because I didn't realize, I didn't even think about the fact that I guess it would feel suddenly cold if the sun disappeared from the sky. And if everything went dark, could be a scary experience in her description. Maybe if I read a more cheery description of an eclipse, I would see it that way, which is why I'm curious to see what other people have had to say about the eclipses in the past. And later in this, she mentioned something about a king, I think she said King Louis or something, or not a king, an emperor, Emperor Louis, who died of fright from seeing an eclipse. So I'd like to see like research. What would it be? I'd like to research why people have that psychological reaction. I mean, I could see it, I guess, to some extent, that if everything went dark and cold in the middle of the day, that could be pretty scary. But I kind of want to know more about why and how and that kind of thing. Oh, geez. This part about the flashlight and grapefruit and two oranges. I wonder if that had some kind of role in understanding time and all that. Be interesting. Look into. Look at a picture of an eclipse, but I feel like it's not going to encompass all of it, and I'm just going to have to hold out till, I think, looked it up, 2024 April, I believe. There's supposed to be another eclipse. I think I'm going to go see it. See her description of everyone looking like they're from a 19th century photograph and people looking dead and such. I wonder if that's just her view of the world or her perspective of the world, or she just has a very negative outlook. Not even negative, just dramatic. Like that's why I want to look at other people's reactions to it, because I feel like they vary, and I wonder why they would vary so much. What is it about her that makes this so terrifying? And what is it about others, like the girl in our class who said she saw it at 13 and thought it was cool? Like, those are such dramatically different reactions to the exact same thing, which is actually initially where I was wanting to go with this, but thought that would get very complicated. I was thinking of looking at why people react differently to the same event and what is it that causes that very dramatic difference. Actually, I'm going to write that down. I feel like my reaction to having this kind of lighting during a eclipse would to turn around and start taking pictures of myself. So that's why it's interesting to me that her reaction is so dramatic. It's like, okay, I'd be like, ooh, nice lighting, let's get a picture. And she's like, the world is ending and Gary's dead looking, and we're in the wrong century. And I probably, that's being, that is pretty much why I want to look at this. Because the thing is, all of those people there didn't happen to be standing in the valley and the sun disappeared and got scared. Like every single person there intentionally was there to see this eclipse, to see the sun disappear, if you will. So it just seems so odd to me that that's how they would react, that they would scream when they saw the sun disappear, when that's exactly what they were going to go see. Like, yes, it would be odd to see it go dark in the middle of the day, but at the same time, we've all seen sunsets and sunrises, and we've all been out at night when it is dark. So, I mean, maybe it would be different if I was actually there and experiencing it, but like reading this, yes, I want to go see one now, just to see, do I feel the urge to scream? Do other people feel the urge to scream? Because clearly she was not the only one. So I want to see why everyone's screaming. What is that scream about? So this part about the lifesaver also made me think about perspective as well, because the lifesaver is how this college student saw the eclipse, while Dillard saw death and destruction and sadness. He saw a lifesaver. And Louis saw, what was it? Well, he died. So it's interesting to see the perspectives and how things are seen and why things are seen the way they're seen. I think that's kind of the direction I'm going to take this paper, but we'll see. Hold on to that, so I'll remember to go back to that and put all the quotes in red, so I remember that that's something I want to look at. I forgot to copy down. I'll go back to that later. It's interesting how she acknowledges that though she had nothing to say and had no words to describe what she had seen, that this college student was able to properly articulate what he had seen. Paints an image. I did not realize that it becomes dark that quickly. Like, I think that would be a very amazing thing to see. And I can almost see how that is frightening. I found this bit interesting because it kind of speaks to our attention span. The fact that these people all traveled all that way to go see this eclipse. And then as soon as the sun came back, they were over it and ready to move on with their lives. Which I think really speaks to people's attention spans. I think it's more so that way now. And this, I think, was like from 1970, 79 or something. So I think people are more so like that now than they were even then. I think that's it for the readings for now. Now I need to go through the library website, or Capilano Library, and search up the eclipse. I think I'm just going to start off with just the word eclipse. Maybe I should at least specify solar eclipse. No, did I not just type it? I'm looking more for like a human reaction to it. I probably need like a peer reviewed thing. Must narrow it down to nothing, but let's see. Maybe we can look into the human history. That's an interesting way to go about it. Probably not where I'm gonna go, but I kind of want to see where this is going. So I'm basically reading that the animals didn't have much of a reaction. Yeah, I wasn't really thinking about looking at animals in this. I don't know how I'd even relate that to this paper. This she just hardly mentioned the animal. She said something about birds flying or something, but this does make me think about having an understanding of the world and how things are supposed to be. Makes it shocking when something like that happens. Whereas if you don't have these strong sets of, the sun rises and it's out and then it sets at this time, if you don't have that already ingrained in you, maybe it's not so shocking, which may be why the animals weren't acting as crazily as one would assume.